joined now in the studio by the former PDP presidential aspirant and publisher of Ovation magazine, Dele Momodu, who was at today's meeting of the newly constituted ADC. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Good evening, Charles.
Good evening to you. I was going to ask you whether you just went there as an observer or whether you yourself, because a lot of big wigs have now moved into the ADC, and whether you're one of them. But I'm looking at the cap there that says ADC. I am presuming that you have in fact crossed over.
No, I've always been a fan of political parties. So if I like a particular party, whether I join or not, I will support that party.
But and
I'm supporting ADP. No, the registration only just started. The first registration was our chairman.
Right.
And let me call him my chairman.
Well, you're saying our chairman,
yes,
so that implies that you have joined.
In principle, you understand, I consider myself a member of that coalition.
Right.
So we need to go through the registration exercise.
No, but when you say the coalition, the opposition coalition movement is different from being a member of the ADC.
That's what I'm telling you, that the coalition has officially adopted ADC. That's why you have this cap. And it was distributed, and I wore it very proudly today.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're not hedging your bets anymore. You're in fully.
No. There is no, you see, there was something I wrote about 2 weeks ago that my soul has already left PDP. It's my body that remains. And a lot of people misconstrued it to mean that, oh, another one is on his way to APC. No, I have no business with APC. And I won't have any business with APC because of the nature and character of the operatives of that party. A lot of people that you saw today, even I was surprised to see them join the coalition. It is out of deep frustration.
Yeah, but let me ask you this. I apologize for interrupting. Yeah. Are all those people who were at that meeting today now members or have pledged to be members of the ADC?
I can tell you that 99.9% have pledged. I don't know.
Is Peter Obi joining the ADC?
They will have to collapse their structures for the coalition to work. That's why they are there. Peter Obi is not a time waster.
Is Atiku Abubakar in this ADC now?
Of course, everybody. That's why we have an interim chairman, and we have an interim national secretary in Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola.
Right.
And all of them, everybody, excitedly.
You know, the reason I asked
this ADC today.
Right. The reason I asked this quite pointedly is that you're smiling. You know the way Nigerian politicians are. When they start jockeying for position now, and then the position doesn't favor them, suddenly they'll say, well, I never really was part of that party.
But this one has nothing to do with position.
Right.
Even,
no, I know in your case it has nothing to do with position, but I don't know about the others.
No, one of the most respected and respectable leaders present today, Peter Obi, said that for him it's not about power. It's about good governance. So in principle, all the people came together today. They know that Nigeria is at crossroads. And one thing, I can tell you, one thing that is driving us is this attempt to force a one-party dictatorship on Nigeria. Nothing else. Before you talk about the economy, if you don't have a proper government in place that you can even dialogue with. Imagine we just wanted to formalize ADC today. They were blocking hotels, blocking this, blocking that. But those guys outsmarted them. And I'm so proud. The place was so jam-packed. El-Rufai, myself, all of us, we had to trek from the main road into the Yaradua Center this afternoon. You could see the determination.
Like serious oppression.
No, they've really oppressed Nigerians. It's not just us. We've been used to oppression from military now to civilian dictatorship. We've been used to it. But the ordinary Nigerian needs those who have the voice to rescue them from it. You can see that everywhere you turn, there is crisis. Lagos State, assembly members gathered together, sacked their speaker, miraculously. Someone somewhere said, no, you can't do it. They brought him back. In Rivers, some legislators voluntarily absconded from their political party. Openly, it's on video. And yet, we're still doing semantics. We're talking big grammar. When automatically what the law says is that they are gone. Now you have a president who is sitting down with someone encouraging him that no, the governor you sacked, if he must come back, these are the conditions or conditionalities as if you are talking to IMF. So it's no longer about governance. It's about personal ego. And some people have vowed to resist it. Today, for me, the biggest news, a lot of people missed it, was the attendance of someone we all consider our Baba in politics. The former chairman of APC, the former governor
John Oyegun.
of Edo State, John Oyegun.
Yes.
That is a perfect gentleman. I worked closely
he
with
is.
him in exile, with Tinubu. That old man, there is nothing he's looking for.
Very respectable.
Very.
Yeah.
What is he looking for? He's not looking for money. He's not looking for power. He's not looking for position. He came. There was a man there today, they said was a 93-year-old man, an original member of ADC. I think he's their treasurer. The man voluntarily resigned and said, look, we want Nigeria to be better in our own lifetime. So for me, Charles, it's not about power. It's not about, I've been in opposition all my life. I joined politics as far back as 1982. I was only 22 years old in 1982. And since then, all I've been waiting for is a better Nigeria. And that better Nigeria has become elusive. Some of our elders, like Olishenka once said, theirs was a wasted generation. In fact, ours is an over-wasted generation. And we see people who have never done any business in their lives controlling our lives and saying, no, we must be their slaves. That is my personal concern.
But you see, Bashirun, people say that all the people who attended today's event, with the exception of people like yourself and maybe one or two others, are all former this and former that. And these are all people who have had the opportunity to rule this country on different levels, and look where Nigeria is. So why should Nigerians be confident that they are the ones who are going to rescue this country?
In politics, you must seek power. And in seeking power, you go to those who can make power available to your party. You forgot that President Donald Trump was sacked from office. He was removed. Then Biden came in. What happened? The Republicans realized that without that former president, they were not going to make the White House. They brought him back, and he delivered. So the first thing now is that those of us who keep complaining...
Is he delivering or is he dividing America? But we're not here to talk about Donald Trump anyway.
It depends on Americans. I'm not an American.
Yeah, well, we're not here to talk about Trump. Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is that right now, we need to chase away the hyena before we start talking to the chicken. Because for as long as the hyena is around, the chicken is not safe. So when APC is gone, those of us who love good governance should now proliferate the new political party. What we all do is, after we all vote, we go back home, fold our arms. Only a few of us now are speaking and saying, no, Tinubu, don't do this, don't do that. But majority of the sufferers, the biggest sufferers are always the worst critics,
right?
The worst fanatics.
But let me try and get some clarity.